Once again, good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Vignesh. I'm part of the National Digital Library of India team. So, before we formally begin the session, I have a video about NDLI, which I wanted to share it with all of you. May I request all of you to kindly stop sharing your video so that we will have a better connectivity during the session. So, I will
Yeah.
request all the
Yes.
participants to stop their video. And I have just unmuted Dr. Madan and Dr. Shriye Vasugi's mic. Rest of you kindly be on mute. So I will just quickly show the video.
Yeah. I think all the others should mute.
So is the video visible to everyone?
Yes. I think it's starting One Library All India. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So good morning.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning once again. So may I request Dr. Madan and Dr. C.A. Vasugi to take it forward. And before we start, let me just put you some housekeeping rules. One is kindly, I have muted all the mics. So kindly keep it mute till I request you to unmute your mic. Second, kindly stop your videos because otherwise the bandwidth requirement will be huge and there will be huge disturbance in the session also. So kindly turn off your video and don't share your screen also. These three things kindly remember. And if you have any questions, kindly put it in the chat message. Either you can put it, you can send it to me separately as well, so I can respond to you separately. So thank you so much. And may I request Dr. Madan and Dr.
Yeah,
C.A. Vasuki
yeah,
to take it forward from here.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Good morning to all of you. And it's a pleasure having hosted this webinar this morning. And we have with us our Secretary and Director, Dr. C.A. Vasiki, who will share her views and reflections on this webinar for a minute or two. And then we will go ahead with the regular process of conducting this webinar. Madam.
Thank you, Madan. Good morning, first to everybody. It's been a long time since I met all my staff members. And at an outset, let me thank all the participants who are eagerly joined this webinar. And first and foremost, my thanks goes to Dr. Vignesh Swarnamohan, who is the Chief Strategic and Outreach Officer of IIT Kharagpur. In a very short time, he has accepted our request and has also the person who was helping this whole process is Madan Shankar. I should thank him. He's our alumni as well, proud to say that, and who's our staff, soon going to be our staff member from this academic year. I'm very, very happy to be part of this. Mainly when you know about this, program is being conducted is to use the content that is available in the National Digital Library of India, and it is the virtual repository of learning resources available for both faculty as well as for the students. First and foremost, the faculty should be well versed in this, and also we should encourage the students how to use this National Digital Library, which has enormous materials and which will be useful for everybody. It is not going to be, it is actually at this present time when we are all locked up in our own homes, we are all starved, especially people who are in active research and want material. We are all starved for resources and learning resources. And this National Digital Library, when we use it very efficiently, I'm sure it is going to quench all our thirst and for our knowledge. And I thank everybody. And I think this is not going to be one time just because of the lockdown we are using. This is going to be a lifelong learning which you're going to learn. And I'm once again thank Mr. Vignesh Swarnamohan for conducting this program. And I'm happy to you for Mr. Vignesh to proceed. Thank you, Dr. Vignesh.
Thank you, Madam, and thank you, Dr. Madan. So, Dr. Madan, do you have anything to share?
Dr. Vignesh, I have one thing to share to all of them.
Sure.
One is we have about 100 participants who have joined here now. Since we are giving them a certificate of participation, we need to know who have joined. But the thing is, like, some of their IDs in the participant list are their mobile numbers or something like that. So I request all the participants to rename their ID so that it will be visible here.
Yeah. So, and also there are some participants whose mic audio has not yet been turned on. Say, for example,
some of them have not unmuted it.
Yeah, I think Kamachi Lakshmanan, Ranjit Kumar
Dr. Vani, Ranjit Kumar,
Dr. Murugesh.
Yamuna Rani.
Yeah. So I request all of you to just on the left hand side of your mobile screen, you will have an icon to join audio. So just click on that, then you are good to join, right? Otherwise, there is no point. You may not be able to hear us. I think even now they may not be able to hear us. So how we can do is I will just put a chat message to everyone saying that activate your mic by pressing by clicking the left icon. So I could say at least some 10 participants: R Mugaraj, Divya Prabha P, Dr. R Murugesan, Dr. SP Sasireka, Jesse Kamachi Lakshmanan, Ranjit Kumar Rajamani, Vani Yamuna Rane. So
Rani.
all these participants, kindly click on the, if you are using the mobile app, first left icon, just click that, your audio will be activated. Okay, so I think uh, let them connect by activating their account. And also for the benefit of Dr. Madan Shankar, I
Yeah.
request all the participants to put uh, three details, like whoever participated in this thing, your name, what your
Department and
department
designation.
and designation, and your like email and phone number. Is that required?
No, I don't need the email and phone number. Only the
Sure.
department and designation should be
Sure.
fine.
So kindly, all of you, kindly put it so that I can give the chat message to Dr. Madan Shankar for his reference.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
also rename your screen. That is also easy. You can see on the top Galaxy A13 written, 22023A68 written. So just click there and then change it to your name. So it is easy, it would be easier for us to recognize your name and then call you by name instead of calling by some device name. Okay. So uh, should we start?
I think we can start the session. I'm muting myself, Dr. Vignesh.
Yeah. Thank you. So once again, good morning, all of you. As Dr. Madan mentioned, uh, I'm part of the national, and Dr. Vasugi mentioned, I'm part of the National Digital Library of India team, which is managing this National Digital Library of India program. So before I start the session, so let me talk about some of the experience about why digital library and what made us think about starting this National Digital Library of India, and then we will start the presentation. So in I think during 2014 and 15, when most of these centrally sponsored institutions like IITs, IIMs, NITs, they actually send their budget for MHRD for approval. Say for example, they request a budget for library resources and other stuff. So their budget used to be like anywhere between like 15 crores to 25 crore rupees every year, and almost all the institutions procure the same resources, and they from the same publishers as well. So the then MHRD minister like had a first round of discussion with all these institutional heads, and requested them to explore the possibility of why can't we collate all the openly available knowledge resources that are available in the public domain and then give it to everybody in this country. So that's when this idea of National Digital Library of India kicked in, and thanks to IIT Kharagpur's leadership, Professor Pata Pratim Chakrabarti and Professor Pata Pratim Das, and they quickly acted upon this idea and then like conceived this National Digital Library of India initiative. So that's how the National Digital Library of India came into being. And followed by this, let's now see why digital library. For the benefit of some of our student and research faculty members, I would like to quickly share from my experience why digital library. So what happened during my research days was, uh, I like when we go to the classwork. So we used to have very few classwork. So like the faculty used to prescribe some resources, and most likely it may not be available in the department library. So we might have to go to the central library. We go to the central library. In most of the like occasions, whenever we go to the central library and we search in the OPAC, if it's a good resource and if it's prescribed by a reputed faculty, it's most likely that that same resource might have been issued to another faculty member, right? And one advantage of being a faculty member is like you get an opportunity to renew these resources uh, as much as time you want. So like in my experience, like at least I have gone to the faculty members cabin uh, thrice to go and get the book from them, and then take a photocopy of the resources and then give it back to that faculty member. So that is how I used to get it from the faculty members. So that's one challenge that I faced. And the second challenge I faced was we go to the library and the resource may be available in the pack, and when we go to the, so it would say like it's in the so and so section, so and so rack. So we go to the section and rack, we search the entire rack except that one book, rest of the book might be there. So one brilliant student from the campus might hide that resource in somewhere. Only that person can identify that resource. Rest of the people cannot identify that. Uh, so kindly don't share your screen, please. So that's the second experience I used to face. And the third uh, challenge I used to face was the resource may be there in the opaque, it may be there in the rack. So when I go to the specific section or chapter, that chapter may be missing, or it may be underlined with pencil or pen so that it becomes unreadable. So these three challenges I used to face in one of those best libraries in the country. So our library used to be 24/7 open, and we had about 7 stories of building. Uh, and you name any major publications, many major author, the resource may be there. So even then we face this challenge in our library. And also in the last 5 to 7 years, what has happened is the budget for the libraries have been drastically reduced. So the institutions have their own reasons, so they come up with the reason of less number of intakes, admissions and all. uh, so that also has brought down, say for example, I visited around 500 institutions in the last couple of years. So what I have faced is, like, suppose if the institute's budget before 5 years was like 20 lakh rupees, that has come down to 2 lakh rupees. Suppose if the institute budget was 1 crore for the libraries, that has come down to 10 lakh rupees. So the budget and also similarly the human resource for the libraries have been drastically reduced. So what it effectively shows is, so when the resources for the uh, library budget has been cut down, it gives less access to the quality knowledge resources. So when there is less access to the quality knowledge resources, there will be less in the learning outcomes. So that's something that we have seen from our experience. So what government of India looked at all these situations, and then they came up with this idea of, so, National Digital Library of India. And we started it as a pilot project in 2016. And so when we started, we had very few lakh resources with very few user base. And today we are having closer to 4.8 crore resources, and with 55 lakh users spread across the country, with 22,000 institutional partners across the country. And this is, we've just touched the tip of the iceberg. We have a long way to go, because as per statistics, India has at least uh, every month 1 million young people turn into age 18, which means they are getting into higher educational stream. So that gives us more to ask for and more to cater to. So with this, I will start the presentation. And kindly let me know when the presentation is visible, then I will be able to start. So kindly put it in the chat message if it's visible to you. And kindly see the presentation properly and listen to me carefully, because I will be asking a few questions, and there will be some activities at the end as well, towards the mid of the session. Okay, so since it's visible, so I will move ahead with the session. So what is the objective of this session? One is why NDLI, which we have just discussed, and who is this for, and what kind of content we have at NDLI, and how to access NDLI, and what's the difference between Google and NDLI, and then how to operate an NDLI club in your own institution. So these are the few things that we are going to see in this today's session. And kindly see this gentleman. So his name is Professor S.R. Ranganathan, and he is the father of library science, library and information science in this country. So for the benefit of participants, I will stop my video so that we have better connectivity. Okay, so our country needs quality knowledge resource for anyone, anytime, anywhere. So that's one of those critical requirements that the country currently has. So as I mentioned, so the perspective of NDLA is like every month, at least 1 million people turning the age of 18. That means India needs 6 universities and 270 colleges to address this educational divide. So this is as per the 2011 census. So you can see very few states where Kerala, Goa, Mizoram and Tripura, where the literacy level is above 85%. In most of the states, it's less than 75%. So that's as per the 2011 census, official census. So you can imagine like how actual situation might be on the ground. So in order to like set up these institutes, India needs to invest 60,000 crore to 1 lakh crore every month just to set up upfront cost. So you can imagine, so setting up an institution easy, but sustaining that institution is the most challenging part, and that needs huge amount of resources and a lot of human resources to act upon. So the government of India looked at alternative options to supplement and complement these existing educational infrastructure. So they looked at digital solutions like Swayam Prabha, NPTEL as the supplementing and complementing resources. So NDLA was formally dedicated to the nation on 19th of June 2018 by the then Hemachadi minister. Now let's see who is this for and what kind of content. So NDLA is meant for everyone. So starting from the school going students to the college going youths, professionals, academicians and researchers, entrepreneurs and lifelong learners. Anybody who is interested in learning, we have resource for them. Right? And how do we work? So we basically don't create content. What we do is we actually act as a content integrator, right? So we collaborate with various educational and research institutions and publishers who are willing to share their resources, which are non-copyrighted and open resources. So that's how we work. And so far, we have closer to 278 such content partners, uh, both within India and as well as outside of India. Let's now see what type of content we have at NDLA. So computer science, information and general works, we have closer to 1 crore, even 99 lakhs resources available on computer science, information and general works. For like philosophy and psychology, we have 6 lakh resources. Religion, we have 2 lakh resources. Social sciences, we have 45 lakh resources. Language, we have 1 lakh resources. Natural sciences and mathematics, 83 lakh resources. Technology, 1 lakh resources. The arts, fine and decorative arts, 4.5 lakh resources. Literature and rhetoric, 7.8 lakhs. And history and geography, 6 lakh resources we have. So this is the total, in total we have closer to 4.8 crore resources. And who are the top 20 content contributors? World eBook Library, they have contributed closer to 77 lakh resources, followed by CiteSeerX 52 lakhs, PubMed Central 38 lakhs, IEEE Explore 33 lakhs. And out of these, World eBook Library, from a World eBook Library, the government of India has procured national license. That means on behalf of the Indian citizen, the government procured the license so that these resources, the 77 lakh resources, becomes free for every Indian citizen. On the other hand, IEEE, we have only the metadata, we don't have the full text. Now let us see what type of content we have at NDLA. So you name any form of educational and knowledge resources, be it a book, be it an article, be it a term paper, be it a video lecture, be it an audio lecture, be it a question bank, be it a data set, be it a manuscript, be it a thesis, be it a dissertation. So you name any form of educational and knowledge related materials, it's available at NDLA. Now let us see which dominates the type of resources. Article of the resources, around 3 crore resources are articles, followed by books 64 lakhs, reports 12 lakhs, notes, class notes 11 lakhs, law acts 8.7 lakhs, law judgments 8.7 lakhs, technical reports 7.1 lakhs,